Good morning, it's 4 a.m. Now you're probably wondering what I'm doing up so early. Well, put quite simply, it's because I'm excited. Today I'm meeting the crew from North West Sportster Sickness for our first official meeting. So I'm up early because I can't sleep because I'm that excited, because I've not ridden my bike since about November last year. So I'm just on my way into the garage to go and put the heating on so I can come back in a bit to check the tyre pressures, etc, etc. Now, I've decided not to take the Sportster today because it's really nice and clean. It's all been ceramic coated and it rained yesterday, so the roads are really wet. And what I don't want to do, just put the lights on. There we go. What I don't want to do is I don't want to kind of get the bike filthied up. So I'm going to be taking the H2 today. So as you can see, the Sportster is really nice and clean and shiny. You probably can't see that, in fairness, it's a little bit dark. But we'll be taking this rascal today. We're taking the H2 out for a spin. Just gonna have to take it nice and easy because the road's gonna be a bit damp. So I'll stick some cameras on the bike. It's not a very interesting ride, but I'll stick some cameras on the bike and I'll film a little bit and see how we get on. Catch you all in a bit. Good morning, folks. Well, it's about just after 9:15 and I'm on my way to Barton Airfield to meet the North West Sportster Sickness for breakfast. Now, as I said earlier on, I'm not taking the Sporty out today. She's just been ceramic coated and is all nice and clean, so I really don't want to get her filthy, for want of a better word, because the temperature is currently about 4 degrees and the roads are very wet because we had quite a lot of rain, unexpected rain yesterday afternoon, so I really don't want to take her out in this damp weather. So I'm on the H2 SE today. My H2 is a 2018 H2 SX SE Performance Edition. So it's a very nice looking bike. It's got the emerald green paint job. It's got some fancy cornering lights, and it did have a quite a nice Akrapovic exhaust on it, but you couldn't take the baffles out, and in my opinion it didn't sound great, so I swapped the exhaust out for a Pro Race exhaust system. So thanks to the guys at Pro Race, the bike sounds absolutely fantastic, and I must admit as well, it it feels to ride a little bit better as well. It's obviously a lot lighter, but the engine can breathe a little bit better, so yeah, works really great. So with the roads being a little bit wet, I need to take it a bit easy today. It's the first time since I've been out on this bike since I think about October, maybe start of November. Now I do usually ride all year round, but sadly not being able to ride that much this year. So it's my first time out. I've also recently put new tyres on this bike, probably about a couple hundred miles ago. So I changed from the standard tyres to Metzeler Roadtech 01s. Now, they are supposed to have a better dual compound, so the central patch is supposed to heat up a little bit better in tricky conditions, which, when you're riding all year round, you definitely need a tyre that heats up quickly, especially with this bike. Because for those of you that know, or perhaps for those of you that don't know, this is 1000cc with a supercharger, and it runs about 197 brake horsepower at the back wheel, and is capable of reaching 60 miles an hour in around 3 seconds or a shade thereunder, and 100 miles an hour in not much than 4 seconds. So she is a very quick bike. and I have had it in the past where I've tried to put the power down and the back end has got a little bit squirrely, so I do need to take it careful. Also, it's my first time out with cameras on this bike. I've got this front facing camera pointing towards me. Not sure about the angle, I'll have to look at that later on. It looks a little bit too far back, so it's probably pointing at my chin. I've got one on the front mudguard and one at the back, but I'm a little bit dubious about putting those on at the minute because I'm going to hit the motorways very, very shortly, and the last thing I want to do is lose a GoPro when I'm doing the legal speed limit of 70 miles an hour on the motorway. So today's ride, it's only about half an hour there, but I am making a small detour. I'm going to meet Steve Subo Boyle from the North West Sportster Sickness at Trafford Retail Park. Now, some of you may have seen Steve's bike on Martin's tuning laugh pipes video over on the Alcamoto channel. So I'm going to meet Steve for a brew and a quick catch up around about 9:30 before we head to Barton then for our breakfast. So it's about half an hour. Not really an interesting ride today, folks. You know, a little bit of an A road, then straight on the motorway on the ring road round to Manchester, and then on to Trafford Retail Park. I don't know whether you can hear the exhaust or not. Probably not, because my Shoei helmet is pretty good at blocking out the noise, but you might be able to hear that in the background. It does sound great. The other mod I've made to this bike is maybe to some people's taste and maybe not, but with the paint job being emerald green, it's got a very, very nice green LED kit on it, so the engine bay glows up a really, really nice colour green as well. I like it. It just adds a little bit of something special. So the roads actually look to be drying out a little bit, which is good news. So I managed to get a bit of power down there and felt alright. So I'm just heading out of Chorley now, on the way to Bolton, and then hitting the M61 to join the M60 round to Manchester. Oh, this is a very slippy road here. Right, put some power down and see what happens. Yep, all sounds good. And all feels good as well. Right folks, that's probably enough of me trundering on now about the H2, and you've probably had enough of looking at my helmet, so I'll switch the camera off a bit and I'll switch it back on again in a bit. See you in a bit. Okay, just switching on for a minute here because this is a really nice bit of road here. It's fairly dry as well. That said, looking at my chin, you probably can't see much, but we'll see how we get on. Just interested to hear if you can pick up the exhaust notes, for those of you that are interested in exhaust notes. That was up to silly speed then, so I'm just going to slow it down a little bit. This bike accelerates so quickly, but I must say it does it in a great fashion. You know, being a supercharger, you would think that it gives you a huge wallop of power, but actually it's got a great, you know, a great smooth power curve, the torque from low revs right through up until red line at 12,000 revs is constant. It's there, it's very, very smooth. That said, when you get to about 6,000 RPM and the supercharger really starts spinning up, that's when you start hitting hyperspeed. Now you can actually hear the supercharger, not so much now I've changed the exhaust, but anything over 6,000 revs, when you change gear you can hear a chirping sound, and it's not a dump valve, but that's the sound of the impeller on the supercharger, or should I say in the supercharger. The blades are actually spinning faster than the speed of sound, and that's why you get that chirp. So yeah, it's a really, really visceral bike to ride in terms of you know, the feeling, the sound, etc. The reason why I changed to this bike was exactly for that reason. For those of you that know me, you know, I've had countless number of bikes over the years, and probably for the last 7 or 8 years I've ridden adventure bikes. I started off with an old Varadero, and then I went on to a V-Strom Thau, which was a great bike, and I rode all the way to Venice on that with Kirsty for our honeymoon, which, you know, was fantastic. And I looked at these guys on GS 1250s and I just wondered why they were spending the money. I then got rid of the GS 1250, sorry, apologies, the V-Strom, and got a Harley. So that was the start of my Harley journey. But I missed having a second bike that I could just ride all year round. So I took the plunge and I bought I think a 2016 GS 1250 exclusive, which was, you know, it was a great bike, and I did everything I wanted it to do, and went in for a new set of tyres, and BMW went and scratched the rims. So while the rim was getting repaired, they lent me a newer 1250 Adventure SE, I think it was, which had the spotlights on it and the aluminium cases and the digital dash. And it had a lowered chassis, and for me, ergonomically, the bike just fit me so much better. So I ended up buying the demonstrator off them, and it was that good. I must have put about 6,000 miles on it in 3 or 4 months. So I rang BMW up and said, look guys, I'm really pounding the miles on this bike. So they happened to have a deal on where it was in November, December, where they had a deal on new bikes, and they had an identical bike to mine, but newer. Well, brand new actually. So I ended up buying that. But the reason why I changed was they were great bikes, but I was just chonking up and down the motorway on them. Literally getting on the motorway, accelerating up to 70 miles an hour, and that was it. They weren't really getting used for what they were intended for. So a bit of off-roading, or just using it as a motorway tool. And I got a little bit bored. So I contacted BMW, and they agreed to pretty much buy it back off me for what I paid for it. Obviously I lost the VAT. And then my mate Chris Lees down at Millennium Motorcycles had this beauty in stock. Somebody had bought it, but sadly couldn't go through the transaction, so it was meant to be. So I'm just going onto the motorway now. So yeah, I went down to see it, fell in love, and here we are now, probably about 4,000 miles later. But what a bike, and it does keep you really, really engaged. You just need to keep an eye on that speedo, because you could be up at hyper speeds in a matter of seconds, and it's so easy to do, so easy to do. Anyways, I'm on the motorway now, so catch you all in a bit. I am switching back on for 1 minute, because wondered if it was getting a bit chilly, and the ice warning's just come on my dash. So definitely going to test out what these tyres are capable of. Obviously not as cold as the what would have been camping trip up to Scotland with the snow, but nonetheless it's pretty cold. But the Kai-seated clothing is doing a fantastic job of keeping me warm. So no complaints really. So here we are, just a few minutes away from Trafford Retail Park. Road seems to be drying out nicely, but there is still a lot of spray hitting my visor. So perhaps it's a good job I didn't put the front camera on, because you probably won't be able to see anything. A little bit early, about 10 minutes early. Oops. Sorry, red light. It was orange, changing to red. We've nipped past this car here. There we go. Let him in. In fairness, Subo's normally early. He gets mega excited for these things, but I doubt he'll be this early. Nope, can't see his bike there. There is a very, very nice Dodge Challenger though. Sorry about the sniffing. Oh, what's this as well? A very nice Dodge, and yeah, oh, the Lotus. I think it's an Evora or something like that. Very nice. Obviously some kind of car club. Right, see you in a bit. Here he comes, the noisy bugger. Morning, mate. Right, we've now got Subo in tow. Got the rear camera on. Sorry about the sniffing, still a bit chilly. So we're about 5 minutes away from Barton now, maybe 10 minutes. We'll have a nice little ride down there and then meet the rest of the crew for breakfast. Hopefully you'll get some good shots of Steve in the background. I don't know what I've ridden through on the way here, but my bike is absolutely filthy. Looks like I've ridden through some lime or something. Those laugh pipes are loud. think it's this way. Not been here for a while. Oh, wait a minute. I hope it's down here. There we go, this is right. We're coming underneath the M60 now. Don't come this way very often. The sky's looking a bit black. It's forecast rain later on. I hope it stays dry for the ride home. Now, I think. Is it down here? Yeah, it is. Thought I was on the wrong road then for a minute. Right then, here we are at Barton Airport. This looks like Sarah Pebbles on her RS. Obviously not brought Pebbles out with her, didn't want to get it dirty like me. Right. Sorry, you okay? Oh, can we get up? No. Right, I'll turn around. Alright, nice one.
It's an access way for the fire engines.
Fair enough. Alright, mate.